Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Kendra, thanks for swinging by. Appreciate it. Bobby, thanks for swinging by. What is going on? Siobhan, Deneen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Totally jazzed, y'all. Totally jazzed, totally jazzed, totally jazzed. Excited, excited, excited. My very first ever, other than the Q&A last week, doing a solo. So we're gonna have some fun stuff here. We're gonna do some Jedi mind wordsmithing here. It's gonna be a lot of fun, a lot of fun, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. I'm gonna go over just talking, general stuff like that. So welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Forrest Knight. Absolutely blessed and honored to be one of the newest coaches with the Ray Higdon Coaching Group, so totally jazzed about that. Excited, excited, excited. I'm a social media marketing strategist and coach. So welcome, 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 welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. Cheryl, thank you for swinging by. Holly, thanks for swinging by. Kyle, thanks for swinging by. Mr. Kyle Rockstar over there. Dr. Gardner, thanks for swinging by. Woo-woo. Right on, right on, right on. Miss Rosales, thanks for swinging by. Absolutely jazzed and excited. Yes, yes, my friend, Dr. Gardner, absolutely, absolutely. So, gotta push, gotta push, gotta push. It's really cool to be able to have somebody to bounce off and push a little bit and nudge and push and be competitive with. You can find that competitive spirit out there and you guys can run together, man. It's a lot of fun, so absolutely cool deal there. Dorothy, Jen, thanks for swinging by. Kendra, honored to be here. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Volume okay? You guys can hear me all right? Cool, cool, cool. I've got a fan going in the background, so hopefully that's not bringing in too much background noise. So good deal, good deal, good deal. Sounds as we're going to get in here. We'll get a few more people a chance to jump on. So we're going to talk a little bit about, so what do you say? How do I say? What do I respond? And that seems to be a lot of that going. If you haven't noticed this, either in Rank Makers and 100K Inner Circle. And I've got some examples that I pulled up to help you guys go through this. And by all means, if you have something that comes up and you want to throw it in the chat, just throw it in the chat and we'll see how I can wordsmith it a little bit. Maybe you got an objection or maybe you're not quite sure how to respond to somebody. Feel free to go ahead and throw that in the chat. And make sure this Thursday that you plug in, I can't remember if the time is, it's either 5 Eastern or 4 Central. We're going to be doing the Weekend Warrior this Thursday, starting off with me and Elsa right here, same place. So that's going to be jazz. I want to say I think it's 5 Eastern, if I can remember correctly, and that'd be 4 Central time zone. I'll post it on the event so you guys know, because she's like 7 UT. She's like 14 hours ahead of us in Australia time right now. So it's going on, what, 8 o'clock here now, so it'd be like 8 in the morning there, plus going on noon, something like that in that area. So let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's jump on this. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So a couple of things I want to jump into, and you guys probably didn't expect this to be mindset training, but we want to talk a little bit about that first. So if you guys didn't notice, in the group today, there was this post, like it was about this long, and this lady she just came guns a-blazing. And one of the things that is very, very important for us to understand, sometimes just to take, and we're talking about postured responses. How can we have a conversation with somebody, right? How can we have a conversation with somebody that's postured, that's still courteous and empathetic to how they might be going on in their life, and maybe not look at people from what you see, because it's very, very hard. One of the things that Jessica Higdon says, and if you don't have it, this very cool social media script book right here is freaking powerful, and she's got a bonus closing tip in the back that I actually highlighted. I'm going to share with you guys here in a minute. So it's not so important to say, so it's not a fit for you, because sometimes saying that you could actually come off in being a jerk and not being empathetic to the way somebody feels. So let's talk a little bit about mind shift and maybe some of the mindset that we need to have before we reply to somebody. Elsa had an awesome, I think it was Elsa. Somebody had an awesome training. Yeah, it was Elsa. It was Coach Elsa. I listened to so much training, just download everything and put it in my brain. She was talking about making sure that you're in the right state of mind before you go out and start prospecting. You need to have the right kind of energy. I mean, if you just had a fight with the dog, the wife, whoever, the spouse, and it's not a good idea to probably go out and prospect because somebody's going to say something in that text that's going to trigger you. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Mindset is absolutely everything. So make sure that the gray matter up here is cool, that the stinking thinking is shut off. Go to, if you need to go outside to your driveway, lock your ego in your car, come back in, chill, whatever you need to do. Make yourself a cup of coffee, do some push-ups. Turn on some music. I love, like when I was getting ready for this training, I turn on music loud. Like I've got 2 speakers up here and I put them on stereo and I just blast it just to get into think mode, just to clear my brain so I can get rid of all the stuff from the outside influences going on before I start prospecting. So it's very, very important if you're going to reply to somebody, just think about this. If you're in a bad mood, right? If you just feeling funky or feeling itchy or whatever you want to call it, I call it edgy. If you're feeling edgy and somebody says something to you, sometimes you have an instant you want to come guns a-blazing. I know I do, and I've worked a lot on me to like pause, like woosah, just take a pause, take a break, don't come guns a-blazing, just keep it really, really mellow. So first thing that you need to do is very, very important is to make sure that you're not in a bad mood when you're prospecting, that you're not coming from a place of fear, you're not coming from a place of anger, you definitely don't want to come from a place of desperation. If you're thinking, man, I just got it. Now, if you're in a competitive mode where like, man, I'm going to get one more sale because I want to beat Dr. Gardner or whatever it might be, and you're having a competitive moment and you're in a good mood and you're in a good attitude and you're being competitive, like, man, I can get one more sale, I can beat my running buddy to the next level, or whatever it is. Have a fun, positive, competitive attitude, a little bit different. You're not seeming desperate. You're competitive. So it goes out there and gets you the opportunity to maybe knock on a few more doors, maybe do a few more follow-ups, maybe swing back around to somebody that you talked to 6 months ago and say, okay, what's going on? So yeah, that's your nervous system, absolutely. So it's very, very important that you get all of that out of the way. There's butterflies. I know from going back and telling a story really quick that some of you might relate to. When I was in high school, I actually changed high schools. We actually moved, and I got started a little bit late in my freshman year of going to a new school. So I went into the counselors like 2 days late or something. I went in and I had 2 classes left to be able to go to. And of course, one of them was theater. And the last thing that this dude wanted to do was get up in front of a room and talk in front of people, much less be in theater. And even though I was a little bit funny and goofy, I wasn't going to get up in front of a bunch of people. But that was the only class that was available. And actually, we'll get the competition going there. I might throw that out here at the end here, see a little bit, see if somebody wants to play, or I might do that later in the group. I think I'll do it later in the group. There's some competition, we're gonna have some fun and see what we're going to. But absolutely, for sure. So one of the things, yeah, I did 15. I actually got to 1667. Actually, 1667, Doc. So a little bit better than that number there, but I got up there. So yeah, I knocked out a couple more the last 2 days of the month. So actually, 1667, not close to your 1700. You beat me. So woo-hoo, awesome. So making an impact. So what do we say in terms of competition? So going back, talking about make a long story short, I ended up going, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to this theater class. I got into theater, got put on the spot, and from there just fell in love with the whole, the being in front of the room and going through the butterflies. But no matter, the point that I was making is, no matter how many rehearsals that we did up to that point, when you come out on stage, you always had butterflies until you threw that first line out and started talking, and then it would go away and you got in the deal, and it was really cool. And sometimes you would just totally forget your line, and because you were practiced and rehearsed, you could, or somebody else would fill in for you or trigger you or say something to get you to move to the next line. So what is the significance of the numbers? Michael, it's just a competition we were having. We had a sort of a challenge last month, in the month of May, to reach out to at least 1,500 people, and several people took me up on the challenge to be able to do that. So I know Hadass jumped in, Doc Gardner jumped in, a couple other people jumped in, and it was a reach out challenge, see how many people we could reach out to. So it was a lot of fun. And the reason we did that last month is because I'd done it in January just to see what happens, and we know as a result of that the follow-ups happen. So back to being, and it's very important that if you're going to do that much prospecting, somebody's going to reply back to you. So a couple of things. One, and I'm taking this right out of the book, Jessica Higdon wrote this, says, it is always important to remember that when you're having a conversation with somebody through social media, that you're not physically there with them, and that your tone of voice can be taken completely unintended. So think about this. As we're prospecting people, you're reaching out around behind your iPad or your iPhone or your computer or whatever it is that you're reaching out to, and one is we're cold knocking on their door, right? We're knocking on their door. We don't know what, so we're interrupting what they have going on in their life. We're interrupting them. So they don't owe us anything. They don't owe us a cordial reply. They can do whatever, they can respond however they like. And when you say that that's okay, that they can respond however, because they don't know you, right? You're a stranger. You're cold prospecting. Now, warm prospecting a little bit different. We're not talking about that because I'm a cold prospector. You know, I don't do warm prospecting, rapport building. I rapport build as I go through the process. I'll look at somebody, have a conversation with them, and I do some micro rapport building in the middle. But remember, when we're reaching out to them, we don't know what mood, we don't know what just happened to them behind the scenes. We have no idea that, maybe they just had a fight with their dog, or maybe their dog just tore up their best cushion on their chair, or, maybe their kid got expelled from school, or maybe something more tragic happened. We have no idea what's going on behind the computer monitors. So, and then of course we're coming across with a script that we don't know how it's going to trigger them. I always say you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and that's true. I mean, you could go blah, 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 join my business, and then go, okay, what do you got? So if somebody's in the right state of mind, if they're looking, you can't really say the wrong thing to them. So don't get so hung up in what I say, it's what they say back to you. This is where this is fun, because we know what the script is, right? We all have the prospecting script with what everything that's going on right now. I'm expanding my home-based business, blah, blah, blah. It's curious if you open, take a look at what I'm doing. If not, absolutely okay, no big deal. Let me know either way. And you just wait for them to reply back. You put that out there into the sphere of what's going on. So a couple of things to note, and this comes directly from Ray. He actually replied back to us today. I know you want to know what kind of dog you have. Okay, he's a boxer. Yeah, our dog is a boxer. So, reaching out to people, you got to realize, and Ray talked about this today, if you're looking for a way never to offend anyone or trigger someone, especially in today's times, you're going to be greatly disappointed. So as entrepreneurs, we got to have a really thick skin. I'm a car sales guy. There's pretty much nothing you can say to me that I haven't heard, haven't been there, haven't done that. I mean, I've had people yelling in my face, and it's just, you just kind of like, when you realize that this guy isn't the original guy, he doesn't come back from that way, and you get a thick skin. And it's not to be crass or coy or mean or disrespectful. You just got to understand that people are scared. A lot of people, especially with everything that's going on nowadays, they're coming from a place of fear. We're knocking on their door when they don't know if they're going to have a job tomorrow, or maybe they lost their job during the COVID-19 thing, and they don't know if their unemployment is going to continue, or they're going to lose their house, their car, their job, their wife, their dog, or whatever. We just don't know, right? And then you've got all of that compounded with all these crazy riots going on. It's just putting crap on top of crap. We just don't know what's going on in all of that mess. So it's very, very important that when we knock on somebody's door, we understand that they might be in a lot of pain, right? But as long as our goal is our mission, as I know our mission is to go out and make an impact in people's lives, is to see if they're open to taking a look at what we're doing. That's our only job. We're not reaching out to them to say, buy my stuff. We're not reaching out to them to get them in our business. Our mission, my mission, is to reach out to people and ask them if they're open to taking a look, not open to join a business, not open to do anything, just asking if they're open to taking a look at what I'm doing to see if it might be a fit for them and their family, right? And as long as we maintain it, that's our only mission, And then there's some processes and steps behind that depending on which way they say. If they say yes, you follow up with a presentation and you go through your follow-up, whatever that is for your business, right? You follow up, you get them to look at a presentation. Here's the trick. Here's what we're going to talk about tonight is what happens when they come back with something that you're not prepared for, right? What happens when they come back just guns a-blazing? My favorite one, and I did a complete turnaround. This is the mind of Forrest, right? So somebody says, is it one of those pyramids? Now here's what I want you guys to, and this is my favorite one, right? The pyramid question. Is it one of those pyramids? In the old days, everybody heard pyramid, and as network marketers, we all freaked out and we went into combat mode, like, no, a pyramid is one of those blah, 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 blah. So take it as a positive, right? And I always look at things as positive. Absolutely, it's a pyramid. Absolutely, it's a pyramid. Love helping people get pyramids started. And you don't have to physically say that, but if you put it in your brain and let them think that's a positive, because they might think a pyramid is positive, because there's a lot of people making a lot of money in pyramids. Whatever kind of pyramid it might be, there's people making money, selling people stuff to other people that don't make money or make less money, or whatever kind of pyramid that they might happen to be in. People are making money in pyramids. People are changing their life with pyramids, whether it's a corporate pyramid, multi-level marketing pyramid, whatever kind it is. It doesn't necessarily mean a pyramid is illegal. So think of that as a positive aspect and just sort of come from that mindset. I think you'll be okay. So let's talk about some of this stuff. So one of the things that we had brought up today is that it was in this conversation, in this post, everybody was jumping on and commenting. Some people are saying, well, should we say with what's going on, and that's part of the thing about it. Started out with the COVID-19, with everything that's going on. I've been very focused and productive in my home-based business. It brought up the question today because now we got a whole new bunch of stuff that's going on, right? We got a whole group of new stuff that's happening in it. So we've got to remember that, again, going back to that, we cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. Somebody, no matter what you say, no matter with what's really going on, whether it's the COVID-19 or the riots or something else next year, or the election that's coming up, or the football season, or a Deflategate in the NFL with the New England Patriots, or whatever it is, there's always going to be something going on. There's always going to be, with what's going on, it's always going to happen, and there's absolutely no way that you're not going to trigger somebody. So just take this to heart, is just remember out there, you're going to trigger somebody with what you say. Always remember that you know that behind the scenes that you just don't know what's going on. So remember, you're interrupting them. So let's talk about some of the things, and these are just some of my replies. And there's no right way or wrong way to see this. There's no script, but I've got a way of turning words around on people. And these are just some of the things that I would say. Again, there's no right way or wrong way to say something back to somebody. You just don't want to come off as sounding like a jerk. You can be postured in your reply without seeming desperate, right? So that's our goal, is when we're having a conversation with somebody, it's okay to let them go. For example, I had a conversation with a gentleman yesterday, and he came across, well, I'm not going to spend XYZ dollars to do this. In my other company, I was doing this. I said, that's okay. And it was a normal conversation. I said, that's absolutely okay. Not a big deal. I wish you best of luck. Thanks for showing some interest in what I'm doing. I'll talk to you later. And I just let him go. Okay, because I had his phone number. We're texting back and forth. I just let him go because I wasn't concerned about that. Why? Because I've literally got 255 other people that I've got to follow up with that are ready to get going, that want to do something, that want to move forward. So I really didn't care about that, right? I'm not saying that's a brag, but here's the funny thing about it was, he thought I was going to bend to his deal and somehow maybe give him the money to pay for it, or give him some kind of pass, or do whatever it was. And I was like, no, I'm not interested in working with somebody who's in that mindset. He turns around and replies back with, well, in my last here's my deal and here's my information, and so I don't see why I should have to pay for this. And I said, you know what? I would suggest, and I gave him the email with support. I said, contact support, because that's not my job. You can go argue with the support people because I'm not going there. So you've got to understand where sometimes to move people and seem imposter. So from that standpoint, that was a postured response, because I'm not going to let him bully me into doing what he wants to. Carla, 255 to follow up with, absolutely. So got a lot going on. So let's talk about some of these scripts. And you guys, you might be on here. I'm not going to call out your name because I don't want to embarrass you, but you guys are all in the group, so this will be okay. This is from one of my friends here. She sent this. She dropped this. I'm going to try and click on this to get it to open. I'm going to try and click on it to get it to open. So basically the way that, come on here. There we go. Give me 1 second, let this open up. I've actually got it open on a screen behind the monitor here. It says, let me scoot this down a little bit so I can see it. So you guys can get a general idea on what I'm talking about in terms of replying and basically using someone's own, if you want to call it, objectional response to what you say. This one says, I wouldn't be interested, blah, 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 is a very new company. BBB rating is an A-, which isn't bad, but it's questionable. And our inner circle person says, no worries, as you probably know, every company has something negative said about it, take care. So she let her off the hook a little bit. And she comes back, of course they do. Do you have something that backs up the company and its business platform, for instance? So that's not a bad reply. She's asking for more information, which is absolutely okay. So let's see if I can get over here to the next how I would reply. Oh, went the wrong way. All right. So my reply, this is what I call my reply kung fu. And again, this is just to give you guys an idea of having a postured response without sounding like a jerk and having more of a normal conversation. Absolutely, I get it. I get it. So it's absolutely okay to be skeptical and do your homework, because we definitely want people to do their homework, right? Go ahead and do your homework. Go out there and get the information. That's not bad at all. You can do as much research as you like. That's what I read into that. I'd be more than happy to send you any additional information that you need. In the meantime, this is where I'm postured. I have several follow-ups to take care of. Just let me know how you want to move forward. Thanks again for your quick reply. And I'm out. Postured response, not being a jerk. Didn't have to say it doesn't look like you're not interested, it doesn't look like you're not a fit for you right now, because I don't know. When people ask questions like that, when she says, oh, because she's in research mode, right? You've got to figure out, you got to understand people's color personality. She sounds like she's a little bit green going in there because she wants some information. Oh, it sounds like there's an A- rating and based on the da-da-da-da. So she went into analytical mode a little bit, right? So she's in research mode. So those are some of the green personality types, are some of the hardest people to come, but you've got to understand, you've got to read them, and you've got to read the context of, you got to understand where they're coming from. And when you can put yourself in somebody else's world, right, you can move into their world, it's easy to have a conversation with them, right? And you can pick those out in words. There's a lot of really cool training out there on that. So let's move to the next one. Let's see if I can get out of the screen here. So let's go to the next one, and this is my favorite one. Sometimes I see stuff, and you gotta play in your head, like put on your Mickey Mouse voice or something, and say it to yourself, and you'll just laugh. Can you repeat it? Absolutely. Or you can rewind on the Facebook Live, but I'll come back to it again. We'll do it again here. Thankfully, Facebook Lives are evergreen. Yeah, somebody said you can watch the replay. Thank you very much. So this is you guys just got to understand the brain of Forrest, right? This is me in my own private Idaho, sometimes living in my brain, and I'm just a real smart aleck sometimes, and it's just always, I can go there almost in an instant. But you got to understand where people are coming from. It's the power of basically taking what they say to you as what you might think is an objection and turning it around on them and seeing what's happened. I did this with a lady who just came guns a-blazing at my wife, and I mean, she was just like, and my wife was going to reply, said, no, hold on. So we changed the words around. We basically used her own words against herself, and she probably realized, like, oh my God, I must have sounded like a jerk. And she enrolled and became a customer. Doesn't happen every time, but sometimes if you repeat back, they say that in relationship building, right? If you're having an argument or a disagreement with somebody and they say something to you and you repeat back to them, you say, so to be clear, so that I understand, and you basically say exactly what they said to you back to them, they'll go, wow, that's not what I meant at all. I said that, but that's not what I meant. So a lot of times if you take that and you repeat it back to them, sometimes it's like they realize, like, oh man, it's like they get an awakening there. So this one says, I love this. I love this. It's so cool. This is like they're just opening themselves up saying, go ahead, this is going to be fun. if they say no to the opportunity to switch to the product? Save that question right there. Don't go anywhere. Don't let that question, save that there. So I'm going to come back and answer that. So let's do this one. Sorry, but we do not ever sell MLM brand products. Use locally made as well as from my own labs. I saw that, and I saw like this evil scientist in his lab with his beakers and you know, the beaker guy from Sesame Street, like I'm Baker, and that's what went into my brain, right? That's what I saw in my brain, and I was just dying, like this mad scientist in this lab, like in the basement, you know, selling stuff out his back door in his own little neighborhood. That's what went through my brain, right? So that's the mind of Forrest. So you just got to understand where you come from. Let me get to my reply here. So oh, that's not my reply. So this is my reply, and again, it's coming back from a postured position. Although I was sounding crazy in my head, sometimes we just need to step back, and it's okay if you don't reply back immediately. It's okay if you don't instantly reply back to them. But I saw this guy in his lab, you know, working his products. And I think that's great. It says to me, he's an entrepreneur. If he really is making his own products in his lab, he's one of us. He's an entrepreneur. He's going somewhere, and who knows, someday maybe his product will end up being an MLM product. Then we end up selling down the road, right? Who knows? Whatever. But the cool thing about it is absolutely awesome. So here's my reply. Absolutely awesome. You've been blessed with that skill and the resources to build your lab and brand. The absolutely resource to build your lab and brand. I said build it, right? Build a lab and a brand. If you know anyone who does not have those resources and is open to looking at making some money on the side, I'd appreciate a referral. Best of luck with your labs. Right? So I took it around. I was being a little bit smart aleck there, but I took it and turned it around and came back with them. Hey, I'm glad you're blessed with the resources that you have to have your own lab and your own brand. That's cool. That's awesome. You know, a lot of people don't have those resources, right? Because they're barely making it as there is to be able to go out and build their own brand, and of course be smart enough to sit in their lab and mix chemicals together and do whatever it is, right? You know, make soap or ice cream or whatever it is. You can put the right, you know, I can make some cinnamon rolls, but I don't think you can do that in a lab, right? So anyway, so that's some of the two of the ones I wanted to bring up. So somebody had asked, how do you switch from who was it? Let me scroll down here. See, is that where'd you go? I'll find you. I saw it. You got to get a little closer so I can see. Oh, it's Siobhan. So if they say no to your opportunity, do you switch to the product? Absolutely. It's not going to kill you. So the reply in this is something I had replied to this before. When somebody says no to the opportunity, I always say, hey, great, appreciate your time. I always say it doesn't matter if they reply in a day, reply in a week, or reply in a month. I always say thanks for the quick reply. Appreciate it. Curious. Now you can go either way with this. You can go into the curious, you know, do you know anybody that might be able to make a little bit of money on the side? If not, I would appreciate a referral. Or you can do the same thing. Hey, appreciate the quick reply. Curious if you might be open to taking a look at our product lineup, or you can say services, at our product lineup or services, to see if they might be a fit for you and or your family. If you are, let me know. I send some information. Thanks again for your reply. And then I'm out. I just leave it sit there, right? Sometimes some people come back and say no. Sometimes they'll say yes. I had one person come back and say, man, you're quite the salesperson. You just don't stop. I say it in my reply. And then the conversation, yeah. And I went and looked at their profile real quick to see what they do. And I said, hey, I see you're in sales. How long have you been in sales? Blah, blah, blah. And then I had a conversation, you know, what are some of the things you like? What are some of the things you dislike? I mean, we had this conversation going back and forth. And I said, you know what? I'd really love to have somebody like you on my team. It looks like what I'm doing may not be a fit for you right now. I'm going to swing back in about 45 days and check in on you. Is that cool? And they went, that's thumbs up, right? So I put them on my follow-up, and then I followed up within 45 days, and they ghosted me, and now I think they're on like, 120-day follow-up or 180-day follow-up. So I'm going to definitely swing back around, because I put notes on everything that I say to people, so I can swing back around and see what's going on with them today. So, Siobhan, did that answer your question okay? Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, appreciate. So just think linearly, logically in terms of what you're going to say next, and put those either on a note card. And it doesn't matter which way. Just sometimes just a gut feeling. Go look at their profile and see what they do. Right. See, it might even give you a hint on how to reply if you're doing it. Now, if you're reaching out to 50 or 60 people a day, sometimes you don't have time to do that. You just want to go through the process real quick and keep moving. Again, you can't say it's not going to hurt to ask them if they're open to taking a look at your product lineup or services. See if it would be a fit. And I always say for you and or your family, because I want to put that in there, because some, I've had a couple of people say, yeah, my wife would like to take a look at it. And say, great, cool. Would you be okay if I send you a product catalog link over, so you can take a look at our products, and then I might interject with saying, hey, do you know if your wife likes this, that, or the other? And they would say yes, and say, great, I'm going to send you 2 links that you can share with her. And also, she decides and I like to, if it's something that I can defer to my wife because she's a female and I'm talking to the husband, I'll defer to that. Say, oh, by the way, if she has any questions about the products, I can get her hooked up with my wife so they can have a conversation about that stuff, right? So what that does, now watch this is so freaking powerful. What that does, that shows a lot of power in terms of couples being in alignment, going in the right direction. So if you do have a spouse that's supporting you and that might be sort of maybe in your business a little bit or helping you with the business, this might be even a way to get them more involved in your business, get them moving forward and going, hey, sweetheart, I was wondering, I was talking to this guy and he's going to share it with his wife. You'd be okay with talking because, your wife likes your products or services, right? It's getting her involved so they can have a conversation and put the girl power to work, right? Put the girl power to work for them, or vice versa, ladies. If you're talking to a guy, maybe get your husband to come back around. One of my teammates, as a matter of fact, it was so funny. She wanted me to talk to her husband and get him enrolled. It was a really cool conversation, very, very cool story. How she sort of did an end run around on him and got me to talk to him because she knew that he needed some guy power to talk to him. So it was a very, very neat conversation. So if you have a spouse or a husband that can do the follow up in those product situations, and you can leave that in there, it can create a real power statement like, wow, this guy's got his wife involved, or she's got her husband involved, and they're building this deal together. Because trust me, couples want to be this. People want to be together. At least I do. I shouldn't say everybody, but I know I enjoy doing business with my wife. I enjoy doing business with my spouse. I enjoy helping her do her business and running together, and it's a very, very cool thing to think about. So just think about that as you're reaching out to people. When you respond to them and say, hey, I'm curious if you or your family might be open to taking a look at what we're doing, or maybe you go look at their profile and you see like pictures of husband and wife all over the place. You can say, your wife and your kids, or your wife and your family, right? And you're targeting that as a reply back to get them to think like, well, maybe my wife would like to take a look at this. So, or maybe my husband would like to take a look at this. So just use that as a backup of just seeming like a normal person, not some robot that's reaching out to people for absolutely no reason at all. So hopefully you guys got some, I'll do a couple of quick questions if you got some in there. Hopefully you guys got some value of that. Just take time to get your mindset right. So just to recap some of the things we talked about, make sure that before you start prospecting, just like Coach Elsa did in the training here a couple of days ago, that you're in an absolute positive state of mind, that all of your garbage is left out of the room, that if you need to go hug your spouse and give them a kiss and apologize to them before you get into prospecting mode so you can get in and do good, and you need to turn on some loud music or whatever it is to get the mind right. And just remember, when we're reaching out to people, we're cold prospecting on them, right? We don't know them. They don't know us. We're intruding on them, so we got to be gracious, and we got to be gracious when they reply back to us guns a-blazing, because we don't know what kind of pain they're going through. We don't know what kind of itch they're going through. We don't know what kind of struggles they're going through, and sometimes they just need like a big hug, right? They just need a lot of love sometimes from us, and that might be the direction to go, right, based on the conversation. But it seems like they're in a lot of pain. Sometimes you can be empathetic to that and say, hey, I get where you're coming from. Maybe go peek their profile and see what's going on, see if maybe you get a hint. and say, I apologize. Sounds like you're going through a lot of stuff. Sounds like this isn't something you want to look at right now. That's absolutely okay, not a big deal. But just be a normal human being when you're conversating with people, and just remember in text, there's no voice to that. There's no voice coming over. And speaking of voice, don't send voice memos until you have a relationship with somebody. I don't listen to voice memos from people I know. So if you want to talk to me, you need to send me a text message or talk on the phone physically. So how do you overcome when you don't have the support from your family? That question's been asked a lot. How do you overcome when you don't have support from your family? And I'll answer that question. So I guess it was, babe, was it about a business and a half ago? Anyway, my wife, we were in business. Mainly I was in the business and she was there. My wife always supports me. She's always been there as a backup, which is cool. But she wasn't really supporting this business. She just wasn't digging it and things like that. And I just kept going forward. So to answer your question, Don, put your head down. Just like all the negative Nellies out here, just put your head down and prove that that's something that you love. Prove that that's where you want to go. Go out and find some people that you're going to run with. Find a running buddy that can help you out. Find maybe another lady that's on your team or cross line from you or whatever, and put your head down and run and prospect and run and prospect and knock on doors and shout out your goals. Hey, I reached another 10 people. Hey, and say it out loud. Say it out loud. Say, hey man, I just reached out to 10 people, and just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. If you get a new customer, boom, I got it, and just celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate your wins. Participate in the group. Hang out in the group, show up in the group, and your family's going to be right here with you to support you. And next thing you know, your Uncle Joe's going to come along like, man, where'd you get the new car? Oh, I got a bonus from it was a car bonus from the business that I'm in. Not a big deal. And you just change the subject. You don't go trying to sell them on the business. Yeah, it's a car bonus I got from this business I'm in. It's absolutely cool. And you're like, what? And you just keep celebrating. Head down, head down, head down, head down, head down. Turn on the fire hustle. Work harder. Reach out to more people. Follow up with more people, and I think that's going to win them over eventually. And if it doesn't, sometimes you just have to love people from a distance and just keep moving on. Just love what you do and never give up. Absolutely, 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 absolutely. So anything else? I want somebody to throw something at me that I can wordsmith here. Plan to work in your own space, even if your car, if you have one. Absolutely, yes, yes, yes. Becky, yep, thanks for that. Appreciate you guys for swinging by. Appreciate all the love. Appreciate this. Has been absolutely exciting. So this Thursday, Coach Elsa and I are going to be doing setting up for the Weekend Warrior deal. Hopefully you guys can join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. What do you do when you get discouraged from all the no's? See, I'm going to be a little bit weird. No need to have anyone approval. Okay. Crystal, this is to Crystal. What do you do when you get discouraged from all the no's? See, maybe I'm just weird, but I don't get discouraged. I mean, I love the company that I'm in, and I love, and maybe it's my sales background that I'm in, and I know with the new people. So give me a second. I'm gonna figure out how to answer this so this makes sense. So I'm gonna figure out how to answer this so this makes sense. How do you where to go? What do you do when you get discouraged from all the no's? So I don't get discouraged from the no's. And maybe that's just me, maybe it's weird, and maybe it's because, and I'll answer this. Here's how you do this. Track and measure. Now this is me going a little bit green on you, Crystal. This is going to mess with your brain a little bit. But I track and measure everything I do like on a spreadsheet so you can sort of see a graph, right? So I know that based on the number of prospects, the number of people that I reach out to, that in that number, right, and it's in a numbers game, in that number, there's going to be a yes somewhere. In that number from the people that I reached out to 4 or 5 months ago, somebody's going to come back today and it's weird. They apologize to me for not responding sooner, which is weird. And a lot of times, though, I couldn't reply because I had some family issues. They don't need to apologize to me, but they do. So if you don't want to be discouraged, track what you do. How much time are you prospecting? How many people are you reaching out to? Are you actually using the scripts that are taught, or are you changing them a little bit? Are you changing that prospect script? Do you have a target clientele? Coach Elsa trained this, which is absolutely cool, and I really like this about it, is she came out and talked about doing social media posts in areas that you like, right? You talk about things you like to talk about, like travel, cars, bicycles, motorcycles, whatever it is, trains, planes, automobiles, whatever it is you like, you go target those. So one of my, I think she's on here tonight, and she says, where do I prospect people? And she likes Coach Purses, I think it was, or Fedora Purchase or something like that. So she went and found a post on one of those pages and started having conversations with those people. So you got to track what you do. If you don't want to get discouraged, you need to know how many people you're actually reaching out to. You need to make sure that you're using those scripts. You need to make sure that you're plugging into your coach and finding out. And just be honest. Nobody's going to put you in timeout because you say the wrong thing. Nobody's going to be mad at you because they say the wrong thing. People want to see that you're being consistent. There's a lot of people that are watching you from a distance. They're watching you to see if you're really walking your talk and not just a fly-by-night, well, I'm going to try this out today and then I'm going to try something out next week, and I'm going to do that. So did that make sense? Follow up until they die or are rude or don't need anything. And people, and that's a really good, Hadass, that's a really good point. So in the follow-up process, and I know I've changed direction a little bit, in the follow-up process, you got to remember, there's people that say, well, do they think I'm bugging them? If they're bugging them, they're going to use this really powerful word and or statement, and it goes something like this: stop, stop, please stop. And it goes just like that in all caps, like stop, stop, please stop. They'll send that word out to you. That means they don't want to hear from you anymore. If they don't say some phrase of that, stop marketing me, leave me alone, go away, go jump in the lake, I'm not interested, stop. They will let you know that. Until then, just continue to follow up, use the deflection process, do the deflection updates, that we do the follow-up updates. Had a prospect reply with the video I viewed explained more of a pyramid scaling of promotion. Let me see if I can tap on this without hanging up on everybody. Promotion with the company. So basically a fancy way of saying this is a pyramid scheme. The video I viewed more of a pyramid scaling of promotion with the company. So basically a fancy way of saying this is a pyramid scheme. You know what I said earlier about pyramids, right? I love pyramids. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. So you've got two directions you can go with that. So my reply back is I'm going to completely ignore what she just said. This is Sales 101. You ignored the objection and reply back with, so based on the information that you saw, do you feel more comfortable getting started as a customer or as a business member? You get, what did I just say? So based on what you just saw, do you feel more like, and see, I'm jumping ahead a little bit. I'm assuming the position on purpose because they're saying pyramid scheme position. I'm jumping ahead a little bit because I want to see where they're going to go with that, right? I want to push them just a little bit over the edge. I want to push them to the next step to see where they go with that. So based on what you saw, would you be more open to, being a customer, or would you be more open to being a team member? Because they obviously went in and watched it. So basically the fancy way of saying this is a pyramid scheme, which is like, yeah, it's a pyramid scheme. Yeah, great, right? So based on this fancy pyramid scheme, or you could say, yeah, absolutely, it's one of those fancy pyramid schemes. Based on what you saw, would you be more open to being a customer? Or would you be more open to being a teammate or a business partner? I would say maybe a business partner, depending on how you feel like. Maybe would you be open to being a business partner? Would you be open to being a customer? And just wait and just throw it out there and see what happens. They may come back with some kind of weird hand gesture, which is okay. They may come back with something really negative, and just throw it out there and see what they say. There's nothing you can say wrong. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. If they're the wrong person, they're going to let you know. Like, I'm not doing one of those pyramid schemes. Great. Pyramid schemes aren't for everybody, but I wouldn't say that quite yet. because you don't know where she's at. Say, great, because she watched the information, she watched the presentation, she said, basically, it looks like one of those pyramid scaling things. You say, great, based on the information, what you saw, would you be more open to taking a look at being a customer? Would you be more open to taking a look at being a business partner? And then just wait to see what she comes with, right? If she comes back with something negative, like, I'm not interested in any kind of pyramid things at all, this, blah, blah, and then she goes total negative Nelly on you, or whatever, say, great, looks like what I'm doing isn't a fit for you, that's absolutely okay, big deal. I wouldn't even ask for a referral, I just move on and next. Don't spend a lot of time. Sometimes you can push people in the direction you want them to go to. That's just sales 101. Hopefully that helped. Let's see where to go. Once you review the scripts for follow-up in the Units tab, Rank Makers Facebook group, you will see all the no's. Yep. A lot of people in my group discourage cold prospecting with scripts. Kind of sucks. So, I mean, it's totally up to you, Brenda. And I know this with my business is 99.9, well, maybe 98% of my business is cold prospecting. It's cold. It's like totally cold, and that's all from a mind shift set standpoint. Just do you. It's your business. You're an independent business owner, an IBO. You're an independent business owner. You need to take charge of your business. Don't worry about them. Don't go tell them what you're doing. Just go do it and put results on the board, and they're going to come and ask you, so what are you doing? Oh, this is what I do. Like, what? You're cold prospecting and you're building a business? Ray teaches that. So put your head down, go to work, and you'll absolutely be okay on the other end. I'm sort of bulletproof. I don't care what you say to me. You can't hurt my feelings. Unless you say something crazy about my wife, and then we might have to go fight. But other than that, I think we're going to be okay. Let's see. Once you review the scripts, what time is it? It's 9 o'clock, guys. We've been here. We've been hollering for 45 minutes. I would love to stay and hang with you guys. We've got a lot going on. I still got to do my Facebook Live and a lot of follow-ups, but I really appreciate you guys for coming and hanging out. If you have any additional questions or any additional script or replies, basically, just put them in the comments, and I'll reply back to them the best I can. Appreciate you guys hanging out. This is Forrest at the Inner Circle Coaching Team. Really appreciate you guys. I'm out of here. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.